Let's go to eat a...
Great weekend all the way around. The college football was sensational. A lot of changes going on there. The coaching carousel is in full swing. I mean, it's like one of those carny rides where, they lost control of the thing and it's just going around and around and around and around and around. Okay, everybody get up when you can. No, when you can. I used to read the headlines in the racing forum. It was always great because the headlines were so archaic. I mean, they were just paying token homage to the idea that kind of like some of the public service announcements that you hear various radio stations play. I mean, they're obligated to do it by FCC regulations that were written when the Magna Carta came out. Do you really feel in your heart of hearts, having been in radio as long as you were, that the general philosophy of the radio station, go ahead and honor a commitment to do things that were beneficial to the local community? No. All they wanted to know, hey, is Zimmerman going to spill the beans on that account for the casino?
That's all they cared about.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
On what we anticipate to be just a beautiful Tuesday here in South Florida, where we originate from, it's great to have you with us for this edition of the Defo Show. I'm Jeff Deforrest, along with one Mike Lubitz, and happy to be here on On Channel. And we'll take you up until 9 o'clock today. Going to be very busy today because there was much news happening around our town. And it does shake up the national scope to a certain extent, although until the University of Miami football team somehow establishes that it once again is ready to become a national power, which they're hoping. They're hoping, Lubie, that this is the man. I have a list here, and this is an easy one to do from memory, although let me know if I left anybody out, because I figured this out. I did some backtracking, Lubie. First of all, how are you? We have to establish you here on the show. It's like establishing a jab. That's Mario Ronaldo. Does not go through the first round of a fight without saying, that's Jones looking to establish the jab, after the guy flicks like one punch that doesn't come near its mark. And, that's always one of the first storylines. But we have to establish Mike Lubitz here on the show. How are you, my friend, on this fine Tuesday?
I'm doing well, sir. I was very wrong. I've been eating a lot of crow, and the Canes got the guy I didn't think they could afford. And Oregon came as big as they wanted to, and the Canes came higher. And Cristobal is coming home. I'm doing well, and I know Canes fans are doing extremely well this morning. How are you, sir?
Is Mario Cristobal, and I know, I guess, people are looking for diversity in coaching hires, and Cristobal, what, is he of Hispanic roots, Mario Cristobal?
Mario Cristobal from Miami, yes.
Yes.
He's very Latin, yes.
Okay, very Latin. I just wanted to make sure of that, clarify that, so we didn't start talking about, yeah, you know what, it's about time they hired a Latin guy, and then it turns out he's Jewish.
No, he's
we haven't had a Jewish coach, by the way. I mean, you talk about, considerations that should come under the umbrella of, let's try and be fair about everything. But nonetheless, Mario Cristobal, the latest, is he just the latest great white hope, though? Because that kind of is where the program has been at for some time. Now, it's not uncommon. And ever since the Canes fans started embracing the coaching choices, that's when the program has gone downhill.
That's what's so funny is all the legendary coaches are all like, who the hell are these guys? Now they're like, yeah, this guy's great.
It really is. We talked with Jimmy Johnson about that. We hope to get a chance to talk to him next week again at Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill about the cold reception he got when he became the head coach. Nobody had really known much about him. I keep giving him credit for having Thurman Thomas, Barry Sanders in the same backfield, but turned out that wasn't the case. And he never actually coached Thurman Thomas. He told us that story. It was great. And Thomas hated him for a long period of time. His parents tried to sue him for leaving Oklahoma State, where he was coaching at the time. He took a few of his guys with him, eventually assembled his own staff here, because one of the big mistakes that athletic directors make, that they're trying to be loyal while being disloyal at the same time, if that makes any sense. Yes. In other words, you're trying to go ahead and be faithful to your spouse while cheating on her.
Yes.
Which and in your mind, you're thinking you're doing the right thing. And that's what athletic directors confuse themselves with. If you're going to hire a head coach and say, okay, here's the program, give them the program.
Yes.
You can't say, well, we have loyalties to this guy and that guy. I mean, look, who wants anybody to get rid of a guy like Art Keogh? When he was an assistant coach with the University of Miami for like 100 years, and was really the embodiment of the spirit of that team going way back. I mean, if you wanted a guy that could take you back and be a link into the past glory. I don't know that it's necessarily bad to have these guys on the staff, but it's too much of a compromise, is it not, Lubie? I mean, they could throw me another guy to be like a slash co-host producer on the show, but it wouldn't be the same. It just wouldn't. I mean, you reach certain comfort levels with people that are on your team. I know if they kept asking any business to just bust up their top guys and constantly change, or bring in a new regime and keep certain people in place that don't necessarily philosophically agree with you, that it would be very difficult to operate and bring about the change in terms of results that the program is looking for. So you kind of have to, I hate this cliche, but I've used it a lot in boxing matches that I was calling. And you know who hated it? Kept reminding me, never use that again. Freddie Pacheco, the fight doctor, who I worked with a few times. And I would say, well, so-and-so's throwing caution to the wind right now. And then you know how sometimes, well, I guess unless you've done some announcing or whatever, but maybe just even in conversation, you keep saying the same thing over and over again, using a phrase, maybe like there are kids present and you keep cursing, and you realize, man, I got to reel that in. But yeah, caution to the wind, I guess, is the way that you could describe the way the Hurricanes have kind of approached this thing. And it was ugly the way they handle it. But if you go back and track it through time, I got here and I finally did some mathematical extrapolations, Mike Lubitz, because I keep thinking, and Paulie Mann of Hialeah Park trivia fame has me convinced that I moved here in 1982. But I realized that is chronologically impossible. Chronologically impossible, because it had to be 1981. I know I moved here in July, right around my birthday, July. And it was like 1981. I came from California. And it had to be because my son was born February 3rd, 1983.
Okay.
So think about that. If I moved here in July of 82, then it would have been impossible for me to A, meet my wife, B, marry my wife, and C, impregnate my wife, and D, have her be 9 months pregnant and ready to deliver a baby boy.
That's a lot
by February of the next year. Impossible. There you go, Defo.
Yes,
you moved here in 81. And the other thing that triggered in my, now failing memory bank was I do remember, and this also is a qualifier and kind of a fundamental verification, that 81 was the year I moved here. I remember one of the last interviews I did when I was working in California. There was a fighter out there named Albert Superfly Sandoval, whose brother Richie was an Olympian and became a world champion. Albert never won a championship, not to be confused with my buddy Albert Davila, who has, and I still maintain this to this day, the greatest sports story I've ever come across in my life. And I had the pleasure of kind of witnessing this and watching the whole thing evolve. And being a guy that's in the business of telling sports stories and talking about sports stories, this one happened to be incredible. But Sandoval was a very popular fighter. He was a flashy guy, had a brilliant amateur career. He fought a lot at the Olympic Auditorium. Thursday nights, you would likely see, there was a possibility that maybe every couple of months you were going to see Albert Superfly Sandoval. And he did fight for a world championship there at the Olympic Auditorium. But I do remember him telling me, and it was one of the last interviews I did, and this finally clicked into my head to prove once and for all, Lubie, not that this is of great importance to a lot of people, but it ties in with this whole thing. There's a connection between Superfly Sandoval and the University of Miami coaching situation and the hiring of Mario Cristobal. I assure you, I'm gonna figure out a way to get to that.
For now,
I'm lost there. No. But I remember Albert saying to me, and he had just lost his bid for a championship, and I went out there. He worked out in a town that was neighboring to the newspaper I worked at, Pomona, California. I was in Ontario, which was essentially the same area, and I went to some dingy boxing gym where he was working out in Pomona. And I loved his optimism and his enthusiasm. And he said to me, you know what, Jeff? 1982 is going to be my year. So there it was, see, because I left there before we got to 82. That hit me today, and I realized, wow, it was a lot easier to do this by the mathematics in terms of impregnating a woman and having her deliver a baby inside of 4 months when I hadn't even met her yet. That was the thing. So 1981, I get here, and UM football is going to crank up, and there's Howard Schnellenberger at the helm.
That's funny.
And I'm covering the 82 season. I got a job in the media, and my first season of covering the Canes was in 1982. And there was Howard, and he was talking about oh, you know what we got to do? We just got to keep recruiting people like the great Jim Kelly. And one of the things that he did that was really ingenious, Howard, among many things. And it's amazing. Did he ever get into the College Football Hall of Fame? Did he check out
I
without making it into
I
the
don't
College
know.
Football Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that's based on lifetime record, which he had a lousy lifetime record.
Yeah, he took over
Uh,
disasters.
yeah,
He didn't stay. Like, he didn't do a Bobby Bowden or a Saban where he just, all right, everything's good here. Let me just accrue wins. Like, he kept moving, kept building programs.
yeah. Was bad when he got here. Louisville was bad when he got there. The Oklahoma thing that didn't work out so well. And no,
That's how
he didn't really have a flask in his inside jacket pocket, did he? And took a hit
I
like
know.
during the game.
I don't know.
You would have been tempted to watching the Sooners that he was coaching, but that was a brief, short-lived experiment that ended up in terror and in peril. But then he came to FAU, which naturally you're going to lose a lot of games there before you're ever going to build any kind of a winner. And then what kind of a winner are you going to build? You're going to be Lane Kiffin probably had the most success there
Yes.
in any one season. I would venture to say that is a very safe statement to make here on the program.
Yes.
But Schnelly was here, and he convinced me that things were going to be okay. He could convince anybody of anything, Howard Schnellenberger. You wanted to believe him.
Yep.
Because it seemed like you were hearing it straight from the voice of God.
Yeah.
Much like I was hearing it straight from the voice or the voices of the gods of gambling last night when I found out the winds were going to hit 60 miles an hour in Buffalo last night for the New England Buffalo game. Did you not scramble? I mean, the under number kept dropping, and you had to get in as much money as you can before you hit like 30. And went off. I mean, it started out the number. Didn't nobody have a weather report, an advanced weather report on this game?
I don't know.
I had to think that the score was likely to be like 3-0, like it was going to be one of the snowplow games. But we'll get to that. That was kind of like the easiest money I think I ever made in my life. And it came at a time where I was on just a hopeless, sickening losing streak, people. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm not going to be one of those guys that goes on the air and tells you, yeah, you know what, I know all of my picks lost, but I won.
I love that.
Sorry, Hank. I love Hank. I really do. He
He
was extremely kind to me and generous to me in his lifetime, even though we didn't have that much interaction. But nonetheless, what was always, just a first-class guy when it came to certain things that really matter, which isn't that what counts in judging a person? Like, you could think this guy's a real asshole, and maybe they don't say things in a good way, or they make you feel awkward, or you always feel uncomfortable around them. But if their heart of hearts, if they're doing the right thing, does that absolve them of all the asininity that maybe they exhibit in just being a guy going through the regular paces? What do you think? Because a lot of people didn't like Hank Goldberg, of course, the famous sportscaster here from South Florida and ESPN. But very good guy at heart, an extremely good guy. I can vouch for that. Anyway, Hank would have told you that Howard was a miracle worker, right? So what happens? Howard abdicates the position there. He gets involved with Woody Weiser, who was the developer, South Florida developer, who was going to put a Miami team. Do you recall what the name of that team was going to be? The Miami entry in the United States Football League, the USFL. They had a big press conference downtown somewhere. It was Coconut Grove. I remember going to that, and everybody was stunned that Howard was leaving, and they hated the fact that he was leaving. And he had been on just such an unbelievable role to beat Nebraska in that Orange Bowl game. But was so monumental, Lubie, that alone should have qualified the guy for the Hall of Fame. If the Mazeroski home run got Maz into the Hall of Fame, the Baseball Hall of Fame, Bill Mazeroski, which I don't know, he's a 260 hitter, had a good glove. Is that the criteria? Because you hit one big home run, but gets into the Hall of Fame. Had a long, respectable career, but I don't know that he was Hall of Fame material. And yet, if that was good enough, that one home run, which was maybe the greatest home run ever hit in baseball history, you could make arguments for others, but I don't know. Was there anything more climactic than that? 7th game World Series, impossible underdog beats the New York Yankees. The Yankees winning the games that they won in the series to get to 3-3, 15-2, 17-1. Pirates are winning like 2-1 on an error that was made on a sacrifice bunt. I mean, just squeezing this thing out. I mean, like squeezing it. And, so if that's a qualifier for the Hall of Fame, how is Howard Schnellenberger not in the Hall of Fame? But Sam Jankovich goes out. He finds Jimmy Johnson. Who? What? Who's this guy? What is he going to do? Run the ball all day?
He's Oklahoma State guy. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what people thought, that he was going to run the ball all day, play a very conservative offense. Couldn't have been any further from the truth. I mean, Jimmy came in and he did his own permutations or whatever Howard was doing, and we still had the pro-style offense. Although he got touched up a little bit that first year, right? Didn't he go like 8-5?
Well, yeah,
Jimmy Johnson his first
Greta
year.
talked about it last week. I didn't realize that they forced Jimmy to have the entire old staff because of how Howard left. I mean, I get it. Sometimes coaches on their own will keep guys. Like FSU has kept Odell Higgins through 4 coaches now.
I understand that too. You're an incoming coach or boss, and they tell you, hey, listen, Whitey's been with the team here for like 40 years. Yeah, could you just keep him on somehow? It's like Udonis Haslam syndrome.
Yes, a dude here and there, it happens. One guy, he's there for a reason. You would think he can conform to the rest of the group. But a whole staff. All right, no one here.
This was the losing staff. Exactly. How do you know how much the head coach had to do with screwing things up? Maybe his assistants were all incompetent and he had a blind loyalty to them, which you are now passing on to the next guy, completely shackling any chance he has of having any success. Plus, you want the guy to feel comfortable, right? I mean, if you're going to give a job like that and pay a guy like $10 million or whatever, $8 million in the case of Cristobal, how do you then tell him what to do? You can't micromanage a guy that you have that much faith in that you're willing to spend that kind of capital. Who is this mystery billionaire that surfaced out of nowhere, huh? The guy that's talking about building a stadium? Was it his capital that he said, I want Diaz out, I want Cristobal in, you get that guy from Clemson, and we want a new ballpark?
Yes, we're going to be Bama. I don't know.
Where did he come from?
Miami. And we're going to have the guy that loves to say because Miami, Mr. Lord Eddie 45 Billy Corben, and also David Furones, who's covered the Canes and
some
covers
Bitcoin cat all of a sudden is like running the show down there. It's great.
I just think it's amazing. We're going to level a high school, which I don't think you're allowed to just do.
Yeah.
And we're going to build a stadium in the Gables, which has no land.
Oh, never mind that. I mean, the city of Pompano is not anywhere I live. Is not an easy place to get permits. I remember I was trying to do a garage extension on a house I bought many years ago, and almost impossible to get the permits. I mean, and the things that would hold up the work were amazing. Like the one guy would show up and he had just come in from Mexico and he was working on a roof there. And, some inspector would come around and see that he had a license that had a picture of Bozo the Clown on it. And stop the work. I mean, you'd have to have the permits reissued. Coral Gables, and that was always the storyline, along with the, efforts of the University of Miami, going all the way back to Schnelly to get a stadium built on campus. And also, I mean, they finally did get an arena on campus for the basketball team. That was one of Leonard Hamilton's big beefs, is that, I got to then take these kids on a train to downtown Miami to play in a cavernous arena that is really not suited for accommodating a crowd that's going to be, intimate, and maybe you're going to draw 8,000 for a game, but you're not drawing 17,000 for Canes, Northern Illinois, when the Canes are 3-15 and 0-25 in the Big East. It's not happening, right? I mean, those were horror shows going to the arena for that. I'm with them, but the impossibility was getting anything by the city of Coral Gables. Impossible.
Yep.
So, I don't know how easy it's going to be to do those maneuvers. Let's mow down a high school, reconfigure all the highways, redo all the roads, and build a stadium there. And by the way, they tore down the park and put up a parking lot. I mean, where are people going to park? Even Donna Shalala was on that one. That gives me an opportunity later on in the show to go ahead and mention Donna Shalala to Billy Corben, who's going to join us later on. The always, is it fair to say acerbic, or is that too mild of a term?
That might be mild with Corben.
Well, Corben also is no lock to be on the show. I mean, he's scheduled to be on the program. Let's put it that way. This one's scheduled for 12 rounds, people, in the light heavyweight division. No, he's scheduled to be on a program about 8:45 Eastern this morning, Billy Corben, who is a hoot. And I don't know that we have enough time. Check with Jack and Brad, see if we can run over a little bit, because that could be a possibility today.
We used to do 20 minutes before.
20 minutes is like one question to Billy Corben. All you have to do is say, hey, Billy, city of Miami. And boom, you have another documentary film of classic nature. All right, so Jimmy comes in, and they thought that Jankovic was crazy, out of his mind. I remember the reaction. I was very much involved with what was going on with the Hurricanes at the time. I mean, I wasn't so deeply entrenched that I had like wild and otherwise unknown inside information. Certainly didn't have access to that. But I was around the program. I was doing a lot of shows. I was broadcasting games, and you can't help but become close with what's happening there. Sam Jankovic really hadn't established himself as being kind of a comfortable, friendly guy to be around, although he was a very likable fellow, although seemed, like he was a little bit distant in some ways. But it turned out just the opposite. At first, he was kind of one of those guys that maybe put you off a little bit. So anyway, he comes in with Jimmy, and people think he's crazy. And Jimmy turned out to be a brilliant coach and recruiter, and more than helped the program, not go in the opposite direction at that time. And then what happens? Dennis Erickson comes in. They hated the pick of Dennis Erickson as the head coach. The Hurricane fans were like, "What? A one-back offense? What are we going to do? Who's going to block?" Right? We were used to having Highsmith and who's the guy that got hurt there in the bowl game?
Oh no,
big running back.
I know.
I can picture the guy, and I don't know. I'm blanking on his name. I wanted to say Emerson Boozer. That's
Emerson Boozer. Oh my God.
But they were like a 1-2 punch, man. I mean, one guy was blocking for the other guy, and and think about this. I don't know that you'll ever see this again in college football history, where you have a depth chart at running back. I mean, you talk about running back by committee. They had on the same roster with Butch Davis, Frank Gore, Edgerrin James, and Willis McGahee.
Yes,
were all on the same Canes roster. Go back and look, two people.
You always want Edge to be on that roster.
Oh, he wasn't in there? Who was
I
on the?
Don't think Edge was, because I remember Gore went in the year my buddy Quadrant.
Maybe so. Yeah.
And
but they were all there in the same time frame.
Edge was there then, and he went to the pros, I think, that year. I think they missed each other by a year.
It's a better story the way I tell it. So,
but what they had was Clinton Portis, Frank
Clinton Portis,
and Willis McGahee all on the same roster. Those three were all on the same roster.
All right, I throw Gore in there because he's back in the spotlight with this.
You throw Edge and you throw.
But think about that. I mean, these were the kind of players that this team was getting, and somebody was sitting on the bench.
Yes,
behind those type of guys, and they're ready to just step in there and establish, like waiting for their year to come in.
Yes,
so that they can have that 1 year at the running back position at the University of Miami, which was known as a passing team.
Yes,
how crazy is that?
Yeah,
I mean, what balance they had, and then the defenses were sensational. So that kind of maintained itself all the way through Butch Davis and into Larry Coker. Butch never won a title here, but I mean, did he not set the table? This was the Barry Switzer syndrome with Larry Coker, who was a real good guy, and that was the first guy of all of those coaches that we just went through: Schnelly, Jimmy, Dennis, and even Butch to a lesser extent. Although I think Butch was sort of a popular choice to become the head football coach.
I don't know if he was heralded though. Butch was probably not questioned because he had roots and had one with the Cowboys, but was going through a lot at that time. And he had a lot of early failures. So I don't know if Butch was ever heralded. The other guys, you're not wrong, like Al Golden, Shannon, they were giddy. Coker.
Giddy. Coker. Everybody loved it. How about the players pick? That's who they want. There were other very viable candidates for that job that all were ruled off.
They were rolling
out right away. Al Golden, everybody thought we had wow, what a perfect guy to run the program here. Class, dignity, restore all of that luster to the program. He was a bomb. Randy Shannon, very popular. Hey, why not give the local guy? He can get the recruiting going again.
Coached, yeah.
A disaster. Mark Richt, was the first big money guy, even though by comparison to Cristobal, it was pauper's pay, but nonetheless, Mark Richt was supposed to solidify things. Now he kind of left of his own volition. I want to assume he kind of said, "Hey, I got to step away. I'm just not as into it as I want to be." Yeah. And I don't know what level of success he might have had, but he had never put Georgia over the top in all of those years there with all of those great players. So I don't know. I want to believe that Mark Richt could have been here forever also. And I don't know if we'd be in the same boat with the University of Miami, but you know what? Hey, Fredo, you want to go fishing? Close to it. Yeah, we're still going out. I don't care that the kids going to Tahoe. Anyway, we'll talk a lot about that later on in the program because it's interesting. And Manny Diaz said he wasn't satisfied with the way things were handled, although he's going to walk away with a big bag of cash for essentially, and this is the greatest business in the world. Where can you be just an outright failure in everybody's eyes or a big disappointment and still walk away with like $12 million in cash to not work anymore? Thank you, Manny.
Nowhere.
Good job. 12 million, I guess, was the number combined. Supposedly, this is being circulated that the University of Miami had to dole out to buy out the rest of Cristobal's contract and pay off Manny Diaz.
Mm.
Well, I mean, is that really worth it?
I
I guess if you can get one of the very elite coaches, I mean, who would qualify to be in that category? And we're seeing a lot of guys getting that kind of consideration, right? Even guys that stayed where they
Yes.
were. Lane Kiffin.
Yep.
This guy Franklin at Penn State got like a
Yep.
7-year deal. Yeah, you were mentioning a guy yesterday.
Mel Tucker
Billy
got the huge
Napier
deal at Michigan State.
Yeah, Billy Napier goes from obscurity. Who even knew who this guy was? Louisiana, get out of here. They won their game without him. Didn't even need this guy.
They did.
And maybe he'll have some luck with the Florida Gators, who, by the way, you Gator fans out there, I don't want to say stick it up your ass, but their basketball team lost to a team that was 1-7 last night. That they were like laying like 20 points or something. And it's the first time you talk about bucking a trend. The Southwest Athletic Conference, the Gator basketball team was 26-0 against SWAC teams.
Oh, geez.
Going into last night's game against Texas Southern.
Okay.
And they get shellacked 69-54. I would imagine a lot of people took it on the chin on that ball game. Your man Greg Peterson, I'll give him credit. We often pick on this guy when he's dead wrong, which seems to be every night. He was right about that one. He said, take Texas Southern, which
he did,
most people would have said, you got to be kidding me. By the way, does this come under the heading, last night's football game? Does this come under the heading of don't bet against the devil? Or would Belichick fall into the same? I don't put him in the same category as Nick Saban, Belichick. Belichick isn't somebody that you have to naturally despise, is he? You do, because you're a Dolphin fan.
Yeah, you're talking the wrong guy.
Look, is he abrasive? I guess that was the word I was searching for and thinking. I don't think Sam Jankovic was abrasive. What is it? Give me a word that describes a guy who kind of puts you off or makes you feel like he really doesn't really want to talk to you. Yeah, gruff on you.
Yeah, I would think gruff.
I don't know if he was gruff, but Jankovic wasn't gruff. Yeah. Cowher was gruff. I mean, Belichick is somewhat gruff, right? Parcells was gruff.
Yes.
You got the feeling that they would just as soon spit in your face as talk to you.
Standish? Like
standoffish. There you go.
Standoffish, that's the word. Standoffish.
You lost the face off there, yeah. Standoffish.
Standoffish.
It's not really a great word either, man. Where's Leslie Visser when we need her?
We'll talk to her later.
All right, very good. All right, so the bottom line of all of this with the University of Miami head football coaching search, and they get Cristobal. This is a guy that was talked about forever.
Yep.
They probably would have been better off if they hired him when he was at FIU, like many years ago, before he went on this sojourn through Alabama and Nick Saban, where he was a highly regarded assistant, and then bingo gets the Oregon job. Record at Oregon, 35-13. My recollection, though, is that when the big money was on the table, in more spots than not, you were looking at Mario Cristobal and saying, what the hell are you doing?
He, but quite often would make decisions that made zero sense, and in the big games would fall short. And then, like they did this year, they actually won the big game. They went on the road, beat Ohio State without their best player in Kayvon Thibodeau, a guy that might be the first pick, and then lost 3 games to teams they were far superior to.
The genius of Belichick on full display last night.
I
60 mile per hour winds, right? I'm Lipschitz stopped answering his phone when I made my third swing at the under in this ball game, which, I woke up in the morning and I had heard something about, wow, the weather's going to be awful in Buffalo. Awful. Now, awful weather in Buffalo, see, and you have to try to make it real compared to what?
Exactly.
The old Les McCann tune there.
Awful for Buffalo.
It real compared to what?
What does that mean?
It's always awful in Buffalo. In the summertime, it's awful in Buffalo. It sucks there. The weather there is atrocious. You get one day of, can I say this? I guess it would be Native American summer now, no longer Indian summer. You get one day of that.
Yeah.
And that's like somewhere in like October. And that's it. Every other day is just absolute horseshit. I was in the good weather place by comparison, Syracuse, New York, for 4 years of wasted college education time. Although it was a lot of fun. I was thinking about it on my walk of life the other day. What a blast. Wow. If you could go back in time, college wouldn't be a bad place. Zero responsibility. You're having a good time. You feel great. I mean, you look great. You've got testosterone laced all the way up to, the full head of hair that you have on top of your head.
Yeah.
Just amazing. And a lot of time on your hands and hot chicks. A lot of time, hot chicks, and you're in a band, right? I mean, you can't go wrong, right? Playing a little ball, just having a good time. That was absolutely great. But thinking back, and I was thinking back to my Syracuse days, but it was freezing there all the time, and the winds we have massive winds here, we have hurricanes,
Yeah.
and yet that's not on a daily basis though.
No.
Where in the wintertime, I mean, stuff is just blowing everywhere.
That's what it feels like.
So then when I saw, I mean, this was the greatest thing. I mean, for a gambler that's been on an ice cold streak, I've been getting hammered at the track in a lot of ways, but and it hasn't gone well for me. And you start to lose your confidence. I mean, you're thinking, you know what? Maybe it's time to quit. Imagine that, Lubie.
You think
Have
that?
epiphany. Maybe it's time to quit. And then, I mean, imagine how good I felt. It's like seeing your horse come on the track with the bowed neck, and he looks like Secretariat getting ready to blow the field away in the Belmont Stakes. And sure enough, I turn on the beginning of the game, thinking, did it start yet? Isn't that your question on Monday Night Football now? Hey, did it start yet, or are they still in that endless pregame show? With Steve Young saying, well, here's the way you got to grip the football. And then Brian Greasy goes through the same. Here's the way you got to throw that 3/4 there, Joe. 3/4. Like, this is going to help you when you go out in the streets, like during halftime, and toss a ball around. I mean, nobody gives a crap about these techniques, do they? I mean, go see a coach if you want to get trained in technique, right? You're going to, what? You're going to watch Brian Greasy show you the 3/4 arm motion, and that's how to cut through the wind? The wind was blowing at 60 miles an hour.
They weren't even trying to. Mac Jones threw it 3 times. Like, I can't even fathom how that ended up in a win.
I see Susie Colbert go flying away off the set as if she had sprouted wings, as the great Trevor Denman would say when a horse is flying off the set. No, not just a hat. Not like, I mean, thank God she wasn't wearing a wig of some type. Any guy with a hairpiece, Marv Albert, if he was doing a game, forget about it, man. That thing might have killed somebody. Well, are you responsible, Mr. Albert? Do you feel responsible for the death of that fan?
Oh, Jesus.
He had a couple of funky-looking hairpieces, Marv. I loved him, though.
Yes.
Everybody loves Marv. But, anyway, so I see this woman go flying off the set there, and the whole set is like being destroyed, and I'm thinking, I have the under for my lungs in this game. And how are they going to score? And then sure enough, I mean, Buffalo stacks it in on the line of scrimmage, like in the first quarter. And here are the Patriots. They go right up the middle for like a 64-yard touchdown run. And they're 8 points on the board. I don't know what the ultimate number was that game went off. By post time, it had to be done like 28. Would you think, Lubie? I mean, it started out like 41 on a hook early in the morning. But did nobody get this weather report? Was that just handed to me by the gods of gambling somehow to say, Defo, here's one. So, I mean, awful weather in Buffalo has to be beyond atrocious. Like, you may as well try to play this game in a typhoon. But what is the genius of Belichick? What does he do? He runs the ball like 46 out of 49 plays.
Yes.
Into the wind. Everybody knows what he's going to do. And it was like Fuzzy Thurston came back into the NFL, or Jerry Kramer, man, the pulling guard. Did you see this action?
Yeah.
All game long. I mean, the simplest of plays. Right? You can have all the diagrams. You can have Louis Riddick babbling on and on and on and on. And all you needed to see was he would line up a wide receiver on the outside who would block the defensive end to the inside, pull a guard outside and create a little hole, and then shoot a running back through there. And guess what? The linebackers were all on the line of scrimmage. Boom, to the moon, Alice.
Yep.
But that was really never threatened in a ball game that ended up 14-10. The under was the cinch of all cinches, Lubie.
Yes.
60-mile-an-hour winds. Josh Allen has a pretty strong arm. He completed some passes. He was like a 50% passer in there. Yeah. Well, they had to. I mean, the way the dynamic of the game was dictating that they were going to have to throw the ball a little bit because New England wasn't going to let them run it. So, take your chances there with a ball that looks like a wiffle ball coming at these guys. To his credit, I mean, if you didn't like Josh Allen, he threw a ball. He dropped it right in the receiver's hands, even though the catch wasn't made and you couldn't really blame the guy. but because the thing was just waffling all over the place. But he actually landed one in there, and like, yeah, you ever try to to throw into a really steep wind or run into a steep wind, Lubie? I'm sure you've
Well,
done
usually
it.
bounces right back to you. It's like impossible.
Yeah, it's like playing frisbee on the beach sometimes,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Where you're throwing one to your dog in the ocean, and it gets caught in the wind. It comes back and. Like one of those ninja stars hit some old lady in the neck.
Jesus.
Now you've got to go over and pick it up. And I'm sorry, didn't mean for that to happen, right? And that thing comes in hard when it gets caught up in the wind and then starts spiraling. Wah, 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 wah. All of a sudden, it headed straight for. It's always headed straight for the old lady who's completely immobile and doesn't see it coming. Thank you, gods of gambling, for last night's under. That was great. Pats 14, Bills 10. Patriots now 7 in a row, 9-4, Lubie. And where are they? Atop the AFC. Number one team, New England Patriots. How does Belichick do it, huh? Genius, though. I mean, the strategy, you would have never figured it was going to work, but he knew he was going to pop a play. And I don't know, what did he go back to, the old Green Bay Packer film? Like he was running Paul Horning or Jim Taylor through the hole there. The pulling guard, man. Now, when did you ever see a team just pull the guard on every play and make the same block and it works?
I have no idea. It was weird.
3 passes in the ball game for
they won. They won the game.
They ended up dictating the pace from the time they made the 2-point conversion, and they were kind of you know how it is where Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker is in command of the fight, wins it on all 3 cards: 116, 112, 116, 112, 117, 111. And you're thinking, that's about right. Control the pace the entire time. Nothing sensational. Control the pace. And a couple of big defensive plays in the end there when the Bills were going against impossible conditions. Anyway, it was sort of entertaining, right? Do you like games in adverse conditions? I do. Going back to the Ice Bowl.
It's cool for a little bit. My problem is when it just becomes boring. Like, the Patriots took it to such a level that game went... like, at some point, it's so old school. It becomes annoying. Like, I like it for a little bit, but I want it to eventually clear, and then I want to see football. Not whatever.
I thought the leather helmets were a nice touch. I really
Exactly.
did. The Patriots wore as they came on the field. All right, a lot to talk about here on the program. Stick with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. The Defo Show. I'm Jeff Deforrest. He's Mike Lubitz. And we're on Ion Channel here and happy to be there. Both audio and video streaming. People are catching on. Google the Defo Show. And we're going out all over the universe right now and supposedly picking up steam, Lubie. Picking up steam.
I like how you say
spiraling.
supposedly. It's not supposedly. Why do you say supposedly?
We started at 0.0. I mean, when you start
exactly. So we're picking up steam.
That's going to be the name of my book finally. I decided it's not going to be Death Threat Online 2, book about my career. It's going to be starting from scratch.
Okay.
All over again. How many times can you start from scratch? That's the question. We've done it a million times, so it's absolutely great. All right, we'll come back with more. Lots to talk about here on the program. David Furones, who covered the Canes up until this year when he switched to the Dolphins, going to join us here. So we'll get a little illumination on the two situations there, although I want to concentrate on what transpired here with Mario Cristobal. And he is the latest in a series of saviors for the Hurricane football program. But what is interesting, and maybe if it was going to give rise for hope, who is this mystery man with all of this moolah? That's the question. All of a sudden, they got all the money in the world, which was always an issue. It was a compromise they had to make, right?
That's their problem.
So, you got Al Golden coaching your team, where you're happy to say, listen, Larry, there's not going to be a raise. Now we're going to give you the job, right?
No raise.
No raise. You're going to make the same money you made when you were coaching like the offensive line.
Coach.
The assistant special teams coordinator and strength coach.
He's every coach.
David Furones, he's coming up in a few minutes. Harvey Fielkov going to join us, the unbridled, enthusiastic sports fan. He's all over the tennis world. I didn't know Bjorn Borg had a kid playing in
I was going to say, I'm like, Bjorn?
Bjorn Borg.
I'm like,
does he look like Bjorn? I mean, that would be cool if he was a throwback Bjorn Borg. Wow. Awesome. So we'll talk with Harvey. He always has a wide variety and very strong opinions about many things, including he has to be suffering a little bit with your Miami Heat.
Bam going down. We haven't talked about that at all. Bam going down was not good for them. And Butler's hurt too.
Even Eric Reed, showed like a moment of being bummed out last night. Eric Reed, the most enthusiastic announcer that we know. Not that he's, a shameless shill. I mean, obviously he's been with the team since its inception, but brings it to the table in a very fair, I think, fashion. Right? It's not. He's not inclined to negativity. He just is. Yeah. And great, descriptive, language during the games, and gives plenty of room to the color man, John Crotty, who's very good. Comes on the show from time to time. I'm sure we'll have him in the future, and maybe we should dig these guys up because and Crotty usually, he'll come right out and say, hey, you know what, this isn't good. But Bam Adebayo, I did not realize. I mean, if you had a player wins above replacement. Jean Morant was not even playing for the Grizzlies last night.
Oh, they lost like that to the Grizzlies without Morant?
Morant didn't play.
That paid attention. Oh, God.
But he's been out now. That was his fifth game, Jean Morant, who, of course, is the young superstar with the Memphis Grizzlies, kind of buried in anonymity a little bit because he is the young superstar with the Memphis Grizzlies. Aren't they still in Vancouver? I keep thinking of them with didn't Big Country, that guy Big Country play for them?
Country was drafted there, Bryant Reeves and Sharif Abdurrahim.
There you go.
Those are their claims to fame.
That was it. Yeah, for the Vancouver Grizzlies. They moved to Memphis, which are there Grizzlies in Memphis? I don't think so. It's kind of like the Utah Jazz. The jazziest thing they have there is like the Osmonds Christmas show. She's a little bit country, and I'm filthy rich off these corny songs. The Osmonds. Anyway, no, they've been looking very bad. But wins above replacement, which is a stat I don't even really fully understand how they come up with it, but and what it means. And it's kind of an awkward wording, isn't it? Wins above replacement. So whatever that is, I mean, it seems like it applies to Bam Adebayo because the Heat can't win without this guy on the court. Jimmy Butler's also been injured. So, they're playing guys that they were counting on to fill roles with the team, and they're being asked to, as they say, my least favorite saying in all the sportscasting, step up and make something happen, which sometimes works. Without Jean Morant in the lineup, check this out. I don't know if it's 4 or 5 games. It's now either 4 or 5 games in a row that not only has Memphis won, but they have never trailed at any moment in any of those games in an NBA atmosphere. Almost impossible. That's never trailed. In 5 straight games. How is that possible without Morant in the lineup?
He's a facilitator. He's not a ball hog. Like you would think he would help the off. That's weird. Okay.
He's terrific. I mean, there's no doubt about it. If you wanted to base a team on a guy, you don't mind basing it around Jean Morant.
Yeah, he's had them in the playoff conversation every year.
Yes, I mean, and when you look at Zion,
Zion hasn't
kind of ate his way out of the NBA.
He's even bigger now. That was his problem before.
That's a tough one, right? When you just eat your way right out of the league.
Oliver Miller.
It's been done before, yeah. Oliver Miller, good example, yeah. All right, we have to run. We're going to talk to David Furones here about the Hurricane coaching, the whole thing that happened there, transpired yesterday. Manny fired in the morning, Cristobal signs in the afternoon. Very interesting. Oregon already very happy. See you, Mario. That was it, right?
Yeah, that's weird.
It seemed to be the only guy that was depressed to leave Oregon was Cristobal. He was the only guy that expressed any dissatisfaction.
He went on like local radio shows.
Everybody else was like, oh yeah, hey, see you, Mario. Nice job, man.
That was weird.
Way to choke in the big games. All right, we'll be back with more in a moment. We do have to tell you about Hialeah Park. What's going on there, man? Racing. Even though I've been losing, it's fantastic, and maybe my luck will change. So I'm thinking about backing the Polyman in the handicapping tournament.
Nice.
That's coming up. I don't know if I can play. But you can play, and it's December 12th, Hialeah Park. The entry form is right there, hialeahpark.com. I would imagine you could sign up at post time also for this thing, but it's going to be Sunday. The Champion Simulcasting Room, a brilliant setting. Had many racing fans are the most picky. They're pickier than like Mayo is when he's reviewing a restaurant, right? There was a whisper of salt there that I didn't really care for. Racing fans are as peculiar and picky and ready to bitch about anything. They all loved it. And a lot of guys hadn't been down to Hialeah when they had the first handicap and championship tournament there. And, they hadn't been in a while. I mean, everybody remembered the glory years, the horse racing fans, but came out there and said, wow, what a beautiful setup. It'd be worth the drive from anywhere, even if you're coming from like Palm Beach. And this is going to be a lot of fun because there's an entry, in fact, 2 of them to the NHC, which is fantastic. That's the National Handicap and Championship. Goes on in Las Vegas. And it's at Bally's. I believe it's in January sometime, this year's edition, and you can win a seat to that. And that includes like airfare for two and hotel accommodations. It's absolutely great. And an entry into a $10,000 buy-in tournament with a top prize that usually is somewhere in the area of $800,000 to $1 million, Lubie. So this could be your ticket. Imagine if the Polyman, I had a vision of this the other day, that I put up the nickel for the Polyman. It's a $500 entry fee. $300 is your bankroll. Whoever comes out with the most money in the end, A, keeps that money, then wins the first place money in the prize pool, which will be significant also. And boom, first and second place seats to the NHC. So check that out for sure. Sign up because that's coming up this Sunday. It's right around the corner. The days are going by quickly, Lubie. And that's at Hialeah Park at HialeahPark.com. All right, we'll be back with David Furones in a moment. Here on the Defo Show, Ion Channel. Great to be with you. And we'll be with you today until 9 o'clock. Always a lot of fun being with you here on the Ion Channel and their various outlets all around the world. Audio, video, streaming. Google the Defo Show. Tell your friends to find it. And we'll be having well, we hope to have a rocking year going in 2022. Very optimistic about 2022, Lubie. Right? Usually you get to this phase of life and you think, why me? You could have been a contender. All right, back in a moment. Now that. It's 7:46.
Hey there, it's Mike Mayo. Do you like steaks? Do you like seafood? Do you like classic old Florida charm? You could get that all and more at Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of 95. The Studiali family, they've been running the place a long time. It's been there more than 70 years. And it is now a place you can get early bird specials along with steaks to take home and throw on the grill yourself at the Butcher Shop. That's open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. It's open for dinner every night starting at 4:30, but they are closed on Sundays. Go to Tropical Acres. It's a place to go for a great meal, great people, good value. Tropical Acres.
The championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at GulfstreamPark.com. Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes, because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat, 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
Buy or lease a house and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy, with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. Don't gamble in anger.
She hit the daily.
Very calm. Think it through. If you need a little help, don't gamble in anger.
I get a panicked phone call, and he says, "Do you have any extra cash?" I go, "Yeah, I brought money with me to Atlantic City." He goes, "Well, I can't get any more out of the card because the Mustang went wild and emptied the daily allotment of cash."
Double nickels, man. She went for a nickel on her card and a nickel on mine.
The best way to kick off your day is with Defo plus Lubie. We now return to the Defo Show.
All right, welcome back to the show, the Defo Show here on Ion Channel. I'm Jeff Deforrest. He is Mike Lubitz. And happy to be with you on Ion Channel, ionchannel.com, and or just Google the Defo Show. We want to tell you about this. Man, you're seeing more and more ads. I mean, like 1,000 ads on TV for this insurance thing. Yeah. Where you have to choose, especially if you're getting like a Medicare supplement, which I have one. And I was fortunate enough, these are good people. They can give you the advice. I checked it out with them. They said, yep, you've got a good plan, Sarah. Just stick with it. HST Insurance, they understand how confusing this time can be, so they can help you navigate your options, whether you're looking for yourself or your family. They have a plan. They'll design it just for you. Their trusted advisors can find that plan that meets your needs, get it at the right price for you, fits your budget as well. Call today, HST Insurance, 855-282-8022, 855-282-8022. We welcome to the show one of our favorites. Want to get right into it with David Furones, who, of course, covered the Hurricanes for many years leading up to this season for the South Florida Sun-Sentinel, and now is the beat writer on the Miami Dolphins beat, which at the beginning of the year, it looked like you might have gotten a demotion. But now that they've won 5 games in a row, all of a sudden, there's rise for hope. We don't know if it's false hope yet. We'll get into that. But what did you make, David? I mean, you were around the program, and there was always talk about Manny Diaz. The weird thing, as Lubie and I mentioned before, when they were hiring guys that would go on to display brilliance at the University of Miami back, circa 80s, 90s, into the early 2000s, the people hated every choice that was brought in after Howard. They were absolutely appalled that Jimmy Johnson came out of nowhere via Sam Jankovic. Dennis Erickson was not greeted with great warmth and or optimism. And, Lubie says neither was Butch, although I think, maybe after his first year, people really questioned whether that was the right choice. It turned out to be a very good one. But the last few guys who have all bombed out and then almost immediately after their hiring had people calling for their heads, including Al Golden, Randy Shannon, and in this case, Manny Diaz. We're all, just absolutely adored by the fans when they were being welcomed into the job. So Mario Cristobal is also receiving, obviously, very favorable reviews, and everybody sees this as a good move. What do you think? Is it going to make a difference in the long run, in your opinion, David Furones?
Yeah. Good morning, guys. And first of all, how could you say it was a demotion even as the Dolphins started 1-7? The Canes were 2-4 at the same time. in college,
just having to watch that dreadful Dolphins football, I think it was a demotion in that sense, more of from an enjoyment standpoint.
Well, now at this point, we see both of them kind of turning things around. The Dolphins this season, even the Canes at the end of the season, but then now really making this change. And I think, like a lot of the fan base, I see this as a glorious day to be a Miami Hurricane. Not only do they get their guy who had to be the number one choice, Mario Cristobal, not only because of where he came from and how he came up, but also now what he has done at a major program like Oregon and winning the Pac-12 title over there and having that success at a major program. Just the financial commitment that we're seeing now from the University of Miami in athletics, which is something that has been absent for years. And all those guys that you mentioned previously, like even Jimmy Johnson, he was able to have success even though a lot of fans maybe initially didn't see it with him. And Butch Davis, he had to work that roster to become what's set up for the one of the greatest college football runs of all time and the greatest collection of talent. I would say the 2001 Miami Hurricanes, right after he left, that he really established that roster to be that. One thing is right now the University of Miami can't just get by like those seasons with the talent alone, and then not paying a high-end football coach and not showing that commitment financially to athletics and the football program. So now we're seeing them step up via mostly the donors, because we know as a private institution they don't have the same public funding as a lot of big-time colleges, and have a student body that is only a fraction of what a lot of major public universities have. So now that we're seeing that's a huge step forward in Miami athletics, and shows the signs of a new era for the Miami Hurricanes.
Look, David, I know, and you went to UM. You're a Miami guy. You covered this program a long time. Still follow this program very closely. Not to rain on the parade, and I was really proud of myself yesterday. I just said, "Good job, guys! You got Mario, woohoo!" And everything I said was wrong. I thought they had no shot because, again, of Canes fans, Corben and the professor are Canes that have drilled it in my head. Look, you can listen to them, but actions speak. They finally took some action. But how sustainable is it? They've said everything. We're going to pay assistants, and we're building stadiums on top of schools, and we're doing all the great things. They've said a lot of these things before. Like, it's Miami. We know Miami talks. How much honestly do you believe, knowing this program and knowing the city, how sustainable is it? How much do you think they really will commit long-term to this?
Yeah. Well, I think the difference is right now, I haven't seen it at this level before.
Okay.
So at least not myself, even when I can think back to 2016, they hired Mark Richt. And yeah, that was I guess that would be the only comparable hire on the level of a coach that has been established and has had that type of success, where then, yeah, they finally stepped up and paid a guy, and a lot of similarities too. He was a Miami alum, same way Cristobal is, and now he had been let go at Georgia, so and that was per going 9-3 over there, which at the time with the Hurricanes that would be deemed a huge success. So 9-3 at Georgia got him, sent away at Georgia. Miami went ahead and hopped onto that. And then we saw some of the success in year 2 with him because, then they had the season where they got up to number 2 in the college football playoff rankings, were 10-0, the turnover chain and all that. And before it kind of went crashing down at the end of that season. And then 2018 sort of took another dive. And then Mark Richt, with his health concerns, decided to retire. And as far as the fan perception, since we're kind of cataloging how they viewed every coach, I don't think many people saw that one coming. It happened the day after the bowl game when he retired. And then we know what happened after that, and that Manny Diaz was hired the very same day by athletic director Blake James to avoid a coaching search and just fill the role that same day. But so now I think, I just think it does seem to be on another level. As far as the talks of creating a new stadium, I think that is very premature right now. I heard the rumors of the Coral Gables High campus as one thing. I don't see that happening. If anything that's near the campus, I would view maybe Tropical Park as a solution. But I mean, that is just so far in the distance. It's not even something right now to think about. Right now, they're going to be playing at Hard Rock Stadium, so focus on that. And then maybe years down the road, there is some major development with all these donors that really want to invest in this program and something sustainable where they could build some kind of their own football stadium. But right now, they're going to be playing far away from campus at Hard Rock Stadium. But we'll focus on that.
David Furones, South Florida Sun Sentinel, covered the Canes for many years, UM graduate, and now on the Dolphins beat here in South Florida. With us here on the Defo Show, Jeff Deforrest, along with Mike Lubitz on ION Channel. Did Nevin Shapiro get sprung or something? I mean, where's this money coming from? Who is this mystery man? Is he a Bitcoin guy? The guy with the billions of dollars that wants to put the stadium on top of the high school? That was great yesterday. What great circus that was, and always something, off there on a sideshow, whenever, and with this whole, adventure with whether Diaz was going to be the coach or Cristobal was going to come in. But I guess the people got what they want, David, and that hasn't worked out well in the past. But we'll see if they have a commitment, and wherever this money's coming from, certainly has to be a welcome infusion into whatever chances the Hurricanes have of getting back to the top. All right, quick thought, David Furones, on your current beat.
How much more of a Miami story is there than wherever the money's from? That quote right there.
Yes.
That is
Exactly.
Follow the money. Yeah.
You just say wherever the money's coming from.
Yeah. That's exactly right. I mean, I don't know what are the rap music world, again return. Is Vanilla Ice going to parade around on TV with a hat on and spark recruits to come from all over the country because it looked like a cool place to go? All right. What about this Dolphin run? What do you make of it? How real is it? How tangible is it to think that the Miami Dolphins have A, righted the ship, and B, are finally, after so many pratfalls, going in the right direction?
Hey, a lot of people started saying it, including myself, once they got that Thursday night win against the Ravens, that, okay, now there is a path to get back to 500, that you could presumably see them getting back to 7-7, and then once they do that, they're back in the playoff mix, and you're starting to see them back in some of the in the hunt graphics.
Yeah,
where you see the playoff picture, and they have
off in the distance, though.
On the left-hand side. Yeah.
You need a safari hat to
Like
find them
down
in
in
this
the
hunt.
corner.
Yeah, it's like, is that the big bull elephant over there? Yeah, okay. Let's take a shot at it.
Yeah. In fact, I almost found it disrespectful. ESPN on Monday Night Football last night did not include Miami Dolphins in the hunt when they have all these 6-6 teams, and then 6-7, you just need a half a game difference. And
you're out of it.
Spot open on the graphic there, and Miami is not shown. There was space. There was space to include Miami, and they did not do it.
They were having trouble just holding on to their hair pieces there on the set. What are you talking about? That was a rough show to do.
But I mean, they've won 5 in a row, and now they've got this bye week, so they get rested up here at the end of the season. Some debate over the bye week. They could have used it earlier in the season when they were coming off the London trip, and you saw that they lost to the Jaguars. The first game the Jaguars had won in 20 NFL weeks, and then they come off that, lose another heartbreaker on the last second field goal to the Atlanta Falcons coming back home when they had to play the next week. So yeah, that was a key stretch in that 1-7 run. Now maybe we're seeing the opposite side of it, where they will be rested up for the final 4 games when they come off of this. So New York Jets, now as you're going 6-7 at home, they're going to be banged up as well. The Saints are. The Titans, we know they don't have Derrick Henry after that. So now there's this realistic path. And then you can get to that regular season finale against the Patriots and have that really mean something if you end up getting to 9-7, 9-7 going into that one. So you have to win out these next 3 games to make that happen. So it's still a challenge, and there's still a lot ahead of them, but it's possible now.
You just outlined the Dolphin fans' worst nightmare of late, which is to get to the final game of the season, have some meaning, and then blow a gasket like they did against Buffalo last year. We'll see if history repeats itself. David, always a pleasure, my friend. Great stuff on both the University of Miami and, of course, your thoughts on the Miami Dolphins. We appreciate you coming on the show here on Ion Channel, and we hope to talk to you again real soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
I'll be well, David. Thanks.
David Furones, ladies and gentlemen. All right, still a lot more to come. Harvey Fielkov is going to join us. Of course, he also a longtime sports writer with the South Florida Sun-Sentinel, now an independent operator. He's fighting unattached, like that dangerous guy who looked like Tommy Hearns in the Daily News Golden Gloves in New York City. Fighting unattached out of the blue corner from the Bronx, New York, weighing in at 148 pounds. The guy's like 6'7", right? And it's like Bob Foster, man, back in the days, the old light heavyweight. Left-hander, man, had a hell of a wallop. Anyway, he's fighting unattached right now. Harvey Fielkov, the agent to the stars, Brett Tessler, going to join us. Brought to you by Will and Trust attorney Michael D. Wild, estate planning law firm, and Michael D. Wild does a marvelous job. And Billy Corben slated to join us as well. He of Cocaine Cowboys fame and many other brilliant documentaries, including the U, right? What did he do? U 1, 2, and 3. He was like Coppola, man, with the Godfather movies. Incredible.
He may do a 3 now.
I'm surprised he didn't try to talk Talia Shire into doing the narrative. Barry Pepper, by the way, who looks like everybody, like the actor Barry Pepper, Whoever he played, he looks like Dale Earnhardt in one movie. He looks just like Mickey Mantle in another.
He did Maris.
Absolutely brilliant. Maris. He played Maris in '61. Billy Crystal's thing. He was brilliant.
Yep,
And he does a narration now. He took over for Liev Schreiber. I don't know.
Oh,
Liev,
really?
Liev is on leave, for those HBO Hard Knocks things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Man, I think Liev aligned himself with Chotay. That might have been the deal there. All right, coming back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
It's 8:05 Eastern. Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not. Because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
Hey, it's Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet here for my friends over at Shenanigans Sports Pub. It's a great place to go to take in a game, a good meal, and a couple of drinks. My friend Patrick, he's been doing it a long time, and he's got 2 locations. West side is right across from TY Park in Hollywood. And then the east side location is at 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Shenanigans is the place for wings, burgers, barbecue, fresh fish, anything you want, drink specials, late night dining, outdoor dining. It is the place to go, family friendly. Go to Shenanigans and tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
That really
really scares me more than anything in life. Never
The
mind
minibar?
losing all of your money gambling. Like, is there anything worse? You open the fridge door thinking you're going to shove that half a cheeseburger that you had left over, and you took it with you, even though you probably were going to have to put it in a drawer and eat it again. You open the door, the refrigerator door, and you're thinking you're just going to put something in there from, because naturally you don't even bother to check in. You already ate something before you got to the hotel. And the minute you open the door, like a slot machine, the wheels start turning.
Yes. Yeah, don't even
and
bump
it's
into
$17. I mean, you may as well just buy your drinks on the plane. $17 for a little tiny, thing of vodka? You got to be kidding me.
It's almost like, that thing was...
M&M's, $20 a pop. I mean, who's making the prices there? Joe Biden? What is that?
Enjoy your trip to work with lots of laughs thanks to Defo and Lubie. Now on the Defo Show.
Well, once again, everybody, great to be with you here at the Defo Show, this Tuesday edition. Jeff Deforrest, Michael Lubitz. Before we get going with Harvey Fielkov, let me remind you, championship meet is on at Gulfstream Park. Just a marvelous time of the year. All of the top horses are on the grounds, the top outfits. The racing is super competitive and great prices. Our boy Luca came through. Our man Luca came through with like a $50 winner, and you just never know. Sometimes you have to give the edge to the local guys, even over all the hot shots that just got here from New York and other parts of the country at the high end of the racing circuit. So it's happening right here. This is the focal point of all of the racing action around the country right now, Gulfstream Park. Make your plans to get out there for the live racing. You can bet it, even if you're not on site, at firstbet.com. From anywhere in the world, all the exciting racing at Gulfstream Park. All right, well, welcome to the show. Longtime sports writer here in the South Florida area, where we originate from here on the Defo Show. The great Harvey Fielkov. He covered everything during his time at the South Florida Sun Sentinel, and now is doing a lot of work on the junior tennis circuit, where I did not know that Bjorn Borg had a kid playing here in this South Florida tournament. Does he look like a young mini-me? Does he have the hair? I mean, what kind of game does he have?
Yeah, he's got like long hair. It's like dirty blonde. He's pretty built like Bjorn. He's 18 years old. He's seeded 6th in the 18s. This is the biggest junior tournament in the world right here in Plantation. The Junior Orange Bowl, which I'm covering for the USA Orange Bowl website, is next week in Coral Gables at the Biltmore and Salvador Park and Crandon Park, where the Miami Open was. There you got Hewitt's kid playing, Cruz Hewitt. You got Lindsay Davenport's kid playing. His name is Jaeger Leach, because his daddy is Mike Leach, a great college player. His uncle was number 1 in the world, Rick Leach, in doubles. Lindsay was number 1 in singles. I mean, that's a tough act to follow. And how does Borg get out of the shadow of Bjorn Borg, one of the greatest of all time, 11-time world, slam champion, all at Roland Garros and Wimbledon. He quit early, as you know, 28. He was kind of burnt out. I'm going today at one point. I think Leo's on today. He was rained out yesterday. 3:30. He'll be on court. And so will Mary Jo Fernandez's son. His name is Nick Godzik. His dad is Tony Godzik, who's Federer's agent. So this kid grew up probably hitting with Roger Federer. And his mother, Mary Jo, who was a top 10 player for about a dozen years, just couldn't beat Chrissy and Martina or Graf or Celis. But she won many singles titles. So it's the greatest junior tennis in the world right here in South Florida. If you're a tennis fan, just go out and watch, guys. It's free. You're going to see superstars rooting for their kids. Bob McAdoo, the former great Heat assistant coach and great NBA player. His grandson, Robert, will be in the Junior Orange Bowl next week. So it's just a lot of fun to watch all these young stars in the making.
Don't mention Jeff Petrie to Bob McAdoo if you see him out there. Jeff Petrie.
Petrie did.
Vitalis 1-on-1.
Vitalis 1-on-1, man. McAdoo never got over that. I didn't realize that. I was just joking around with Bob McAdoo one time when he was with the Heat, and he bristled, man. He looked at me. I don't know. You've seen this look because you've asked a lot of bozoic questions. Where you just walked into one. Who would know that he still harbored a grudge against Jeff Petrie for beating him in the Vitalis 1-on-1, the old halftime replacement show, Bob McAdoo. But what happened? How old is Agassi's kid? I mean, you talk about some regally bred horses.
How are they?
What about Steffi Graf by Andre Agassi by Steffi Graf? I mean, that's some serious breeding right there.
Wow, unbelievable. No, he's a college baseball player. He wants to be a professional baseball
The
player.
kid's that old already? I figured he was like 6. It seemed like yesterday.
Oh no,
But,
college. He's playing
Jesus.
college baseball. It's supposed to be really good. Imagine the eye hand that he inherited from Steffi and Andre. Man, they won about. Steffi won the Golden Slam 5 in 1 year, including the Olympics. Amazing, and Agassi was a superstar. So that it's fun to follow. You rarely see it, Jeff, in tennis.
it's interesting,
The kids of greats do it. I mean, this kid Sebastian Korda is probably the next great American player. He's climbing the ranks. His dad was Peter Korda, and his mother was also on the tour. But Peter Korda won the Australian one year. He's famous for doing that scissor kick after he won. But basically,
He's a good player.
They're all Czech, but the kid was born in Bradenton, so we're going to adopt him as our own American. He's probably the next great American player out there.
Well,
So
he has 2 daughters on the pro golf tour too. The Kordas. Yeah,
right.
they're doing very well.
Dominating women's golf. How about that family? How about the trophy room in that family? Holy Moses! But
how about the cash in the bank account of that family? Let's touch on a couple other things here. Harvey Fielkov with us, and I did notice this, and just to appease your Yankee, loyalties, and the fact that all conversations end up talking about the Yankees. I was looking at like the off season before the lockout report card, and the Yankees did nothing. Right. I mean, how happy can you be that they sat Chile?
0. I mean, I wanted Corey Seager and the Dodgers. I don't want Correa, the Astros cheater, who also badmouthed Jeter. I don't want him. But listen, they have a lot of good young shortstops in the minor league system. I think they may pick some kind of stopgap, or they could put Gio Urshela there again. I like him at third. He could play short. DJ LeMahieu could play third. But really, they need a pitcher. They need a center fielder. I wanted Marte. Yes, Marlin, but he went to the Mets. I didn't really want some of the old time pitchers out there. Scherzer, he's long in the tooth, but they've done nothing. So it's crazy. They're standing pat and they're keeping Gary Sanchez, which is a nightmare. The worst.
I can hear it already.
United, strike 3, right?
I just like making that sound.
They're standing pat. I mean, I understand it. They got Hal Steinbrenner is cheap, not like his dad George, God bless him, who would pay anything to get some free agents. Hal's saving all his money for his grandkids, I guess. But very disappointing. We'll see what happens after the lockout.
Your Miami Heat, not looking too good. They took another one on the chin there. Bam Adebayo out, thumb surgery, I guess. Length of time of his absence yet to be determined. Jimmy Butler has been. I mean, what is he like? It's professional wrestling. I don't think Bruno Sammartino got body slammed as many times as Jimmy Butler has in the last 3 games. I mean, what is that? He's like he's in an airplane spin or something. So he's out, and the Heat really scrounging. I mean, they really looked poor last night.
And Morris is out since he got body checked by Dunchik, but he's been out for like a month from that hit. Jesus Christ, a hockey player would have played that night, but Morris, I thought, was a little tougher than that. Looks like he's getting ready to return. He was practicing yesterday. But no, listen, when you lose your
never mind the neck brace that the guy's been wearing. Like he's been in a solid cast for like his head whipped off the floor there. I mean, he got a little whiplash. If you watch that back, I mean, you can see his neck almost snap. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, Jeff, he's got to go to Saban and Solomon, accident attorneys, that I made a killing after the car accident, and he's got to make some cash out of that and Dunchik. But right now, when you're missing Bam and Butler, 2 of your best players by far, you're going to be an ordinary team. Lowry can't carry him. Hero is great, but he can't do it alone. You know, they just got to get healthy, and they're fine. They're still, I think, 4th in the conference. They might have dropped last night. But listen, Memphis, man, they are athletic. They run. They made the Heat look like a bunch of Fred Stanford's out there. You big dummy! I'm going right past you. Stop dealing with Elizabeth. So, I mean, they were just outrun last night.
Is there somebody else there with you? Yeah, I know it's a rough go, and this is happening without Jean Morin, and Eric Reed kept citing this, the guy that's doing a local broadcast here on the games. He kept citing a stat that I want to say it's now 5 games, but it's either 4 or 5 games now after last night, where the Grizzlies, without Morant in the lineup, have never trailed in any ball game. Almost an impossibility in a league that's comprised so heavily of runs. Where a team scores 9 points, all of a sudden they're down 16. Or cut into a lead of 16, and then it's right back to that like 5 minutes later. I mean, a lot of runs in the NBA, and to never be behind is amazing.
Yes, they beat OKC by 72 points. I mean, if you got 70 points, you lost that bet. I mean, imagine anyone who bet on OKC that game. I mean, that's a tank job. I mean, I've never seen anything like that, and neither is the NBA in history. So this team's on a roll. They're young and athletic, and once they get Morant back, watch out, man. They're rising in the West. There's a lot of you guys are getting old. LeBron and Westbrook, they're struggling out there in LA. The Spurs aren't the same anymore. Popovich, got all of his Hall of Famers are gone. So,
he's morphed into Donald Sutherland. He really has. I mean, if you look at any Donald Sutherland movie in the last 10 years, it's Popovich. Yeah.
My wife got his autograph on a plane. Donald Sutherland, her claim to fame.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Popovich. Because if you knew you were a reporter, he would have told you. He would have called the flight attendant right away and had you arrested for sure. Harvey, you have fun out there at the. Where is this taking place? Plantation, you say, Florida?
Well,
this
the
junior tennis tournament.
Plantation, Beltry Tennis. Juniors out there in Coral Gables at the Biltmore next week, Salvador Park and Crandon Park. And I'm also covering the Orange Bowl football game for the Orange Bowl website. New Year's Eve, baby.
Yeah, great
so
one.
Back in the third year in a row, I've done that, not counting the pandemic year, of course. So I'll be doing that for the Orange Bowl committee also. That'll be fun to get back in the press box.
Yeah, always great. And, you were always a very popular member of the press corps there. Everybody wanted to, search out Harvey Fielkov and see what you had on your mind. And not afraid to, go ahead and express your opinions, which is why we have you on the show. Harvey, always a pleasure. Have fun out there. Say hello to Borg Jr. and all of the little kids there that are part of the tennis community now that all have royal bloodlines, which I think is amazing. Me being a horse racing guy, I respect that. So thanks so much for being with us.
And congrats to Tony Oliva and Jim Cott, and also Oliva deserved it. One of the best hitters I've ever seen in my lifetime. Him and Carew, you couldn't get him out on that tour. And Gil Hodges too, posthumously. He belonged in there. And obviously, Don Mattingly belongs there. Chitty Cott did play for the Yankees 2 seasons, but didn't do much. He was already about 50 years old. But on that note, say goodnight.
Very good. You know what? I think, is that a disease of some sort where you just can't help yourself? You have to talk about the Yankees incessantly. Like everything comes back to the Yankees. All right. It's like everything comes back to me being Jewish. What is that? All right. Destination Sport Miami. We talk about them all the time. Fantastic organization. These guys are great. They had big dreams, Lubie. Big dreams.
They do.
This is, a giant undertaking that they are endeavoring to do, and they're doing it. And it's happening in the Doral area. Going to be the largest indoor multifaceted sport facility you will find anywhere on the North American continent. It's going to mean a lot to the local community. Going to have all kinds of great programs. They have terrific people associated with Destination Sport Miami, including one of my favorites, and he could use them out there right now, G-Money.
Yeah, oh, God, could they use them?
Glenn Rice. Part of the organization there, and it's going to be really something. It's going to be quite a stimulus for the local economy as well. Check them out at destinationsportmiami.com. You can see all the diversification and ways that you can get involved, whether you are fielding a team, you're training elite athletes, you are an elite athlete, you have teams coming in from Europe that are going to be training or need the ideal place to train. This is it. Largest indoor multifaceted sport facility. I'm talking about 2 full-length and with football fields indoors. My God, tennis courts, everything.
Yep.
It is going to be the epicenter of all sports training. So check it out. Destination Sport Miami at destinationsportmiami.com. All right, coming back with the agent to the stars, Brett Tessler. Billy Corben also scheduled to join us here on the Defo Show. So a lot to do, a lot of ground to cover here as the Canes get their man, Mario Cristobal. Oregon didn't seem like there was anybody there putting up a big fence around the campus and saying, no, Mario, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, I don't know. That one's weird.
It wasn't like they came back with like a 20-year extension at $15 million a year escalating.
At least.
Yeah.
And Miami's
They offered him,
that's okay.
$1 more than Nick Saban is making every year. All right, back with more in a moment. Brett Tesser on the NFL coming up. The Agent of the Stars brought to you by Will and Trust attorney Michael D. Wild on the Defo Show. That happens in just a few minutes. Now that.
The time.
8:24.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come. The championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com.
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen.
The simple pleasures of this job, the way a stadium sounds when one of my players performs well on the field, the way we are meant to protect them in health and in injury. Less, more attention, caring for them, caring for ourselves in the games too.
The Agent to the Stars, the one and only Brett Tesser.
Welcome back to the show. Jeff Deforrest, along with Mike Lubitz, Ion Channel, all around the world on Ion Channel, streaming audio and video and having a great time. Be with you until 9 o'clock today. Billy Corben on the Canes coaching situation, which was resolved yesterday, at least to the appeasement and the pleasure of many fans. Mario Cristobal signing at about $8 million per. Where's the money coming from? What would be the question? All right, speaking of money, this is the money man. You talk about the Agent to the Stars, Brett Tesser, joining us right now. Brought to you by Will and Trust attorney and an extraordinary gentleman in his own right, the great Michael D. Wild. Brett joins us here on the program. Brett, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing awesome, guys. Thank you.
Yes, man.
Good to have you on the program. I know you can't take part in any of this, although I don't know if you ever look at these kind of angles, but yesterday, a gift from the gods of gambling. I mean, there are times I've gone spawn insane and pray for rain. When I've gone out to the racetrack, you have a horse that can only run and win under wet conditions. And I love adverse conditions, especially if you're addressing the over-under total in games. last night, I mean, what is your feeling about just impossible conditions to play in the National Football League? I kind of enjoy those games. Lubie says he doesn't care for them, but I thoroughly enjoyed last night's football game in a very old school leather helmet kind of sense.
Exactly.
And then, of course, I was all over my bookie. I can't find him today, Louis Lipschitz, because we crushed the under in that ball game, which was like 41 on a hook in the early morning. Did nobody get a weather report? Number one. And number two, what is your feeling about games, played under those circumstances, like the Ice Bowl?
Yeah, I didn't enjoy last night's game at all. I mean, a game where a team throws the ball 3 times. And frankly, the unique thing about last night's game is it seems like it's the first Monday night or primetime football game this season that I didn't actually have a client playing in. So it was cool.
Is that right?
I was really excited just to be able to really excited to just be able to kick back and just watch what I thought was going to be a great game. Mac Jones, one of my absolute favorite stories of the year. Watching him really brings back the fan in me. This is a game that when I saw this one, when I looked at the schedule middle of last week, this was a game that really got the juices flowing for me. And I love everything that Mac's doing there. And obviously, I think, football is a little more entertaining when the ball is in the air as opposed to on the ground. And so, to see him throw 3 passes and complete 2, definitely not my idea of a compelling game. I do love elements. I mean, there's nothing I enjoy more than watching, football played on a beautiful white field covered in snow, where that kind of affects the running style of what guys do, but you're still able to, try to get the ball downfield. There's still opportunities to try to attack the opposition through the air. But last night's game where, a simple chip shot field goal is an adventure. To me, that just goes a little too far.
It was like the Joe Nedney Bowl, man. All of a sudden, it looked like the ball had a gyroscope in it. Goes flying off to the right there. Brought back nightmares for Lubie, too, of his Florida State Seminole losses there to the Hurricanes. Mac Jones brings out the fan in you. It brings out the fool in Lubie, because he was among those that thought that this was a dead flat pick by the Patriots, a desperate grasp. And a move that was made out of just absolute fright that they would never have a decent quarterback again. And he's a great story. I'm with you. I love the Mac Jones story. I thought it was cool, though. I mean, did you see that Belichick, who is the master of strategic maneuvers, including kicking off in the second half, having a win in the fourth quarter when he had that option? But he brought back these plays from Vince Lombardi. Did you catch that? It looked like Fuzzy Thurston and Jerry Kramer pulling out and kicking out a block on the left side to create the fabled seam up the middle. I thought it was genius coaching by Belichick in this one.
You heard me say this a million times, Steve, and I'm willing to fight anybody who disagrees. Belichick is the greatest coach in the history of sports, not just football, in sports. Because first of all, if you really think about it, baseball is a sport that moves in slow motion. Hockey and basketball, you're talking about sports with 5 guys on the ice or court at one time. Football is the ultimate chess game. It's the ultimate game of matchups. It's the ultimate game of strategy. And nobody has done it at the level of Belichick. And not just from an X's and O's standpoint. He's always been the kind of coach that players want to get behind. He's the kind of coach that agents respect. And that's important because we're the ones that in many cases decide where our player is going to go if they're not drafted or if they're veteran free agents. And so he's not the curmudgeon that you see mumbling his way through press conferences. He's really a good guy. He's an amazing coach. And the things he's done in today's NFL, Vince Lombardi didn't have to deal with things like salary caps. And some of the other issues that exist today. And so
free agency.
It just makes what Belichick's done. Yeah, it just makes what Belichick's done even more remarkable. And so, he's a guy who obviously is versatile. He has the ability to adapt, which a lot of coaches don't. If he's got the right personnel to run a 4-3 defense, then he'll tailor his defense around his personnel. If it's more suitable for a 3-4 like he had success with for many years, then that's what he'll do. And that's what the great ones do, and that's just what not too many coaches out there are capable of doing. He's in a league of his own.
I can't imagine Paul Hornung would have spent his time in Green Bay if L.A. or Miami was an option. An action guy like that, if he had had free agency at the time. So, there's no doubt, a totally different era, and remarkable that, they sustained this whole level of excellence for 20 years with Brady and now seem to be evolving back into that kind of territory, again, with this Mac Jones maybe being a guy that might be around for a long, long time. All right, the Miami Dolphins, how tangible, how real, how embraceable is their 5-game winning streak? Brett Tesser, agent to the Stars.
How real.
I mean, the fact is, it's one of the top, two top winning streaks in the league with the Chiefs. And so that simply cannot be denied. And of course, you can mention that only one of those wins was against a team with a winning record. But it is the NFL. We've seen, it seems, more this season than ever. Anybody could beat anybody. You saw Detroit beat Minnesota here this last weekend. That obviously on paper should not have happened, as have numerous other games this year. So no wins in this league should be discounted or minimized. And it's just a tremendous credit to the way the team is improving. The blocking has improved. What Waddle has done is just, it's historic. So it's amazing. Not only is he going to break Anquan Bolt's record, he's going to obliterate it before the 17th game even gets into the mix. So, they really hit on that pick. And look, again, Tua is doing what Tua has shown he can do. He can deliver accurate, well-timed intermediate passes at a very high completion percentage rate, and he's not making mistakes. And if everything else is working, you can win in the league this way. Now, obviously, again, I hate to always have to qualify these statements with, I think Justin Herbert threw for about 350 yards, 3 TDs.
Don't mention him to Lubie. Don't mention him.
There was a ton of turnovers.
That continues to be the biggest, albatross around the neck of Tua and the Dolphins organization. But the thing is this: if the team keeps winning and he keeps playing error-free football, and the team goes on to have success, and he ends up being able to stay healthy and be that long-time franchise quarterback for them, then people are going to be paying less and less attention to what it is that Herbert's doing over in San Diego.
Very mysterious year, Brett Tesser. Yeah, yes. Very mysterious year all the way around. Because you had the Rams go all in. They don't have a number 1 pick until 2037. They have traded away all of their so-called draft capital, and obviously I would imagine, I don't know how they're figuring out what kind of mathematician they have there doing the salary cap with all the stars they have on that team that are making top dollar, Brett Tesser. You would be better equipped to address that than I would. But and then they go into like a tailspin. So who's for real in your opinion? I'm having trouble embracing the Arizona Cardinals for some reason, and maybe I haven't seen enough of them play as the top team in the league. The Packers at one point looked like they might be that team. I don't know. They still might. The Chiefs, really, even in this winning streak, haven't been overwhelming opposition like they used to. I mean, they're finding surprisingly ways to win defensively. So, who can we wrap our arms around as being really among the elite in the NFL this year, in your opinion?
I mean, this season, who the hell knows, Defo? I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans didn't go on a tear and end up winning the Super Bowl. That's just the way this season's gone. You seem like, and I don't like it. I'll tell you right now, I do not like it. Yes, it's interesting when there's parity, and yes, every team in every sport inherently has some hotter moments, some cooler moments, and they'll hit a little rut maybe for a game or two. But to see Tennessee's season go the way that's gone, to see Buffalo, to see some of these other teams that really look to be just superior, if not the best, to see them now middle of the pack, and then to see a team like the Chiefs who you thought were out of it. Now it looks like they're emerging at the right time and could have as good of a chance as anybody. But the same way that the first 6 games were lousy and the last 6 games were great, let's see what the next 6 games hold. But again, Defo, I don't like that type of unpredictability and that type of just erratic standings, throughout the year. It just goes to show that there's other factors that are coming into play here. Obviously, in the case of Tennessee, losing Derrick Henry, that's a game changer for them. But I hate to say it, I think the biggest issue with the league this season continues to be officiating. I would just like to watch one game where there's not a controversial, game-changing, bullcrap, unnecessary roughness penalty because some quarterback is trying to extend at the end of a play and the defensive player is doing what they have to do. And, that's getting flagged and extending a drive that otherwise, would have been a punt, which, could in many cases change the game. Or these long pass interference calls we're seeing with just no consistency whatsoever. It's a major problem that the league has right now, and they're going to have to figure out a way to get it straightened out because with more money on the line now than ever before, with the legalization and the acceptance of gambling, it's something that is truly becoming an epidemic.
I think Tim Donaghy made that call on Allen last night. On the Patriots, fortunately, it didn't cost them the game, but they get flagged in impossible conditions where nobody's gaining a yard for 15 when the guy's, trying. He's still inbounds when he got pushed lightly by the Patriots defender, and they threw the flag and put him at the 20-yard line, which fortunately didn't cost them the game. All right, uncertainty is not good because we all know this, Brett Tesser. The one certainty in life is nobody gets out alive, so it's not too soon to start thinking about putting your affairs in order. And there's one guy to go to, and I can personally recommend this guy as strongly as you do, based on what he did with my mother's living trust, which, wow, do you need this help? People, I'm telling you, Michael D. Wild is the guy to go to. I know you recommend him wholeheartedly, Brett Tesser. He's done a great job for you, did a great job for me.
Yeah, this is so true, Defo. And of everything we talk about, I think you and I, for the years we've been doing this, I think, we have a great chemistry as it relates to really just always being straight up and honest in the way we communicate. And there's nothing more honest that we talk about every week than how fortunate we are to have an estate planning attorney like Michael Wild working for our families, as well as working for so many thousands of people throughout the years down here in the South Florida area. And so the easiest way to get a hold of him is southfloridawills.com. And he does so much more than that, whether you are a business owner, asset protection, LLCs, it's worth reaching out to find out if he's able to help you. Reach out to Michael Wild, southfloridawills.com.
All right, a bye week for the Dolphins, but you'll be busy and always interesting as we hit the stretch run December in the National Football League and a lot of big games on tap. So we'll talk to you again next week. Brett Tesser, you have a great one, and thanks so much, as always, for joining us here on the show.
Pleasure is always mine, guys. Have a great week as well. Talk to you next week.
Be well, Tessman. Thanks.
All right, very good. You think he has any idea where this money's coming from at the University of Miami?
None.
I know who might, and he'll know if Nevin Shapiro's been sprung. Billy Corben, Cocaine Cowboys fame. The U, he had, as we said, he's like the Francis Ford Coppola of the University of Miami, and a big Donna Shalala fan. So we'll talk to him about many things, Billy Corben. If we can grab him, you never know with this guy. He means to be reliable, but he forgets.
He's pretty on it. I think it's only been a couple of times. Over the years, we've had him on a lot, and he always comes on.
All right, we want to leave this guy some room. Jack, make a little room at the end of the show here in case this carries over for a couple of minutes. Coming back with more on the Defo Show here on ION Channel, ionchannel.com. Google the Defo Show. Tell your friends, audio, video streaming. They're doing a marvelous job for us, and we hope you guys are enjoying it. Mike Lubie, Lubitz, Jeff Deforrest, back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
It's 8:43.
It's the Gambling Gourmet for Cafe Seville in Fort Lauderdale. It's one of my favorite places. It is old school joint that's serving Spanish and classic continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly setting. It's at 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. They're open every day except Sunday for dinner, starting at 5 p.m. You go in there, you see Joey and his better half, Sally. They are giving the greatest in service. And the food, oh my gosh, it's paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, stuffed veal chop. They serve this great, fantastic, warm sourdough bread. Go to Cafe Seville in Fort Lauderdale and tell them that the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family app. Atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat, 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. The great Billy Corben joins us here on the show. Always great having you on the show.
I want to congratulate you on your bar mitzvah or whatever the hell it is we're celebrating. You guys have always been very good to me, and I'm always very grateful that you have me on, and it's always a pleasure to be here. And I hate to get sort of, philosophical with you on this occasion, but I wonder if you do a radio show for 10 years and nobody listens, has it really been 10 years? Does it really exist?
It's a question we ask ourselves on a daily basis. Fortunately, you've obviously found a way to decode the encrypted messages from management about the show. All right, Billy. Billy, we love you, man.
The modern day odd couple, Defo and Lubie, are on now. It is, of course, the Defo Show.
Welcome back to the show. The Defo Show here on Ion Channel, ionchannel.com. Google the Defo Show. You can find us various other platforms as well. He is Mike Lubitz. I'm Jeff Deforrest, and always a pleasure to have this next gentleman on the program. And he would be best equipped to answer the magic question, which I think is the underlying theme of this whole University of Miami coaching change. Manny Diaz fired yesterday. Mario Cristobal hired, the former Hurricane, two-time champion with the Hurricanes. Had a nice evolution through the coaching ranks. Oregon Lee was at Oregon. But as we said, they didn't seem overly enthusiastic about finding ways to stop him from walking out the door. It was like he said, hey, I got the Miami jump. Okay, Mario, see you later. Billy Corben joins us here on the show. He, of course, the brilliant documentary filmmaker. And Cocaine Cowboys was kind of his initial rise to stardom. And then the Francis Ford Coppola of the U with the U 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Aftermath. I mean, even the Pope got involved. Billy, did Nevin Shapiro get sprung? Where is this money coming from? That would be question number one. How are you, by the way, my friend?
Jeff Deforrest was a great man and a great radio host. And he had a bit of a gambling problem, but he was always gracious enough to have me on his show. And he'll be missed. And
Oh wait, Chivo, is that you? I thought this was a memorial. I'm sorry.
We're making a video for the funeral to be played at the funeral, as if I was still around. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry. We got some Lubie and I must have misunderstood him. We got some cross signals there. I'm glad to hear you're well.
Doing all right. Yeah.
You
No,
know
you
what?
can see us now,
I have
which
a
is
whole
even more
eulogy
criminal.
I wrote a whole eulogy. I have a whole eulogy. Brought to you.
It may still be applicable.
Exactly. It'll
Yeah.
be sponsored.
Well, you know, I want my ashes spread at the 16th pole there at Gulfstream Park, where all my horses died.
Yeah,
which is not a good thing to say today with Medina Spirit going out.
I thought about you and Medina Spirit doing lines and getting some crap laced with fentanyl. And like, of course, of course, Defo survived. He's the real racehorse. I mean, that guy will survive anything. Hurricane, fentanyl, nuclear holocaust. You know,
always Defo.
They saw Victor Conti.
Survived it all.
They saw Victor Conti coming out of the Baffert barn. I don't know that anybody, had any suspicions aroused that something funky was going on there with that horse. So we still don't know if he won the Derby.
You saw Willie Falcone coming out of the
yes.
barn, I think.
Your last brilliant depiction in documentary film. But all right, tell us what you think about all this. Where's the money coming from? That's the first question.
We bring it full circle because Nevin Shapiro is about the height of a jockey. I
think he packed a lot of wampum though. When we certainly made the program go for a while.
Oh, God.
He certainly did. What the hell are we talking about again? I forgot.
This Cristobal thing. I mean, I don't know. The fans are always giddy. They were giddy when Al Golden got hired away from Temple. So what do they know? I mean, is it a solution?
What Cristobal thing?
What Cristobal thing?
That would be great. You had no idea.
Look into your crystal ball, Billy. What do you see? You'll be making a documentary about this guy's legendary career here. I feel it, in the very near future.
Listen, what is this, like our fourth head coach in 10 years? We hire another one, we get a free smoothie, I think. And to be fair, this is the third head coach out of the last 5 that we've hired with the slogan "Welcome Home."
Yes.
So what could possibly
yes,
go wrong?
That's actually
but listen, honestly, I joke. Mario is actually a really good person and a really good coach and a really good recruiter. And I said his hiring is the end of a fairy tale. Whether or not it's the beginning of a new fairy tale, we have to wait and see. But it's certainly, I think, the most exciting hire or the most promising hire that we've seen since Lou Saban. But no, and listen, that's the whole purpose of an off season, right? Is to reinvigorate the fan base and make them believe that next year is our year or that our time is coming. And this is just it's a fun move. It's a smart move. It's an exciting move. It's certainly, to your point earlier, a make it rain move. Yep. I mean, finally, all that Medicare fraud Donna Shalala was doing is paid off, and we can afford to invest in the football program. So.
She had a comment about this guy. Who's this billionaire, this mystery man with the money with the stadium concept, which I thought was brilliantly thought out, as he's going to mow down a high school in Coral Gables where you can't even get a permit to mow your lawn, and without having to bribe somebody probably. And he's going to make this thing happen, or thinks it's real. And Shalala immediately started screaming, "No blocky, no blocky. There's no place to park."
It is more likely that Elon Musk will build a stadium underwater in Biscayne Bay, okay, or on Mars. Or on Mars.
Christo tried it. Christo tried that thing. Yeah.
Listen, Howard Schnellenberger told me that after the national championship in 1983, he was determined. I mean, it was his dream to see an on-campus stadium built, and he had it all mapped out and planned out, and he just couldn't get the support of the administration to get behind him and go to the city and try to make it happen. And that was probably the last opportunity they ever would have had a chance to make it happen in Coral Gables. And he couldn't rally the administration. And he told me that was one of the big reasons why he ultimately left for the USFL.
And he eventually did fulfill that dream, of course, at FAU. But it's just not going to happen. And I would argue that the Hurricanes do not need their own standalone, single-use college football stadium closer to campus. I think what they need to do is they need to produce a better product on the field that they're on now, and people will come. If they win, the fans will show up. I mean, the Notre Dame game years ago was as electrifying a football environment that I've ever been in this town. That includes the Orange Bowl, that includes the Super Bowl that I attended. And I mean, the bottom line is that, good product, good crowd. I don't think that a new stadium is necessary to do what? To have 6 games a year? That's why they knocked down the Orange Bowl to begin with.
Yeah.
We are talking with the one and only filmmaker, Mr. Cocaine Cowboys and Cocaine Cowboys, The Kings of Miami, which is on Netflix now and was a smash hit. Always has a lot working, the one and only Billy Corben. Follow him up on Twitter at Billy Corben, and he's a social media phenomena, Instagram and Facebook, Billy Corben. Corben, man, it's funny because I've been going out with Canes fans, but I got all this from you. Like, for years, you've told us, relax, Miami, they don't have the money. Relax, Miami, they don't have the money. Well, like Devo just said, and you talked about, they found the money. My question is, how sustainable is it? They're promising Mario, and I'm sure they've shown him something financially that he will get money for assistance, facilities, all that. The stadium aside, how sustainable is this? Because you've told me and us for years, look, we know what this program does. They talk, but they don't act. They started acting a little here, right?
Well, there's 2 things. First, we've been having the same conversation since about 2009, I think. Whenever we can pry Defo away from the blackjack game, we've been having this conversation. But remember, I never said they don't have the money.
Okay.
I said they weren't allocating the money.
Okay.
The university has plenty of money. It's just a question of how they allocate those resources. And it was a question of priorities. And the administration did not prioritize football or athletics. They were spending that money elsewhere. Obviously her priorities were Medicare fraud and running for Congress, which is kind of the same thing in a way in this town. They kind of come hand in hand. Have I mentioned Anishleila's Medicare fraud at least twice?
Good for you.
Tom Brady's 44 years old. That's the other thing. Gets mentioned as many times as that.
Do a shot if I mention it again. Do a shot, everybody. But that was the issue. It was the allocation, and honestly, it took 15 years of me, pissing and moaning, and Mike Ryan for the last several months, and then it was Herb Street. It kind of, our local complaints went national, is what happened. And finally they decided to make some changes. But you're right. The question is how much more are they willing to invest? Because the University of Miami Mario's got his work cut out for him, and he knows it too, because the University of Miami is decades and billions of dollars behind major college football programs in this country. So they're not, is the University of Coral Gables ever going to be able to really compete with Alabama? I think they have to build their own thing, because they can't build a better college football program than ones that already exist, but they can build a different thing. They can build a better thing, and maybe they can compete in the playoffs.
Wanted to change direction here, get your thoughts about the college football playoff, since you mentioned that, and there may be some expansion. At least there's been talk of that. We have 4 teams in there right now. But do you have any idea who comprises the committee? Is this like some guys that are still alive from the Warren Commission? Who are the people that are making these calls every year, where that it's a given that Alabama's going to be in there, even if they have 5 losses, and they must have been tearing their hair out when Oklahoma State lost, because then there was no way to screw Cincinnati. So what are your thoughts about the way the system has been working, and who the hell is really responsible for it? Because those are mystery people, are they not?
Great name for a 30 for 30, by the way. Screw Cincinnati.
Pete Rose is going to lead them out of the tunnel. They have no shot. They're going to encourage gamblers to go ahead and take the points.
Well, I think that transparency would be key here, because I think there is a little bit of mystery for general fandom about how all of this works. It's probably better than their old, bowl computer, algorithms that used to kind of randomly screw teams, including Miami, every chance they got in terms of bowl placement and championship, placement as well. So, I mean, I think, I think we're with NIL. I think that we're entering kind of a new era of college football here, where the entire process is going to have to get a little bit more transparent, and they're going to have to be a bit more forthcoming. I honestly don't know how it works. I do know, though, that it's already a better mousetrap than the one that they used to have. So, incremental change, I think, is so far so good. But now I think you're going to see some lurches forward because they're going to have no choice, because things are going to change really fast, just in terms of the relationship with the players, the relationships with the programs. And so everybody's going to have to figure out how to let us know actually how this works.
The great Billy Corben with us here. What are you working on, Billy? What aren't you working on? I mean, you have every hit movie. I mean, people are calling you now, asking if you'll do something for them. Are you? It's a long way from doing those bar mitzvahs and weddings you were doing when you first started out.
Well, I did your circumcision. It was a short.
It was quite an event. I remember that well. Yeah.
It was a short film. Yeah, well, I was right in the middle of editing your memorial video, but now that's
sorry.
So
Rabbi cut your pecker off. Yeah, he was a great one, man. Real steady hands.
But, yes, well, actually, my guy was the first flying moil. He came by helicopter. This is a true story. His name was Saif the Knife.
Saif the Knife.
Oh, I love Saif the Knife. Yeah.
Saif the Knife to my whole family.
A moil with Parkinson's is not a good thing. Yeah.
Saif the Knife. That's great.
And Saif the Knife, and his son eventually took over the family business. But Saif the Knife, the OG, came by helicopter to Fort Myers, because I don't think there was a moil in Fort Myers in 19. I don't know there were any Jews.
Not a popular profession there. Yeah.
I didn't know any Jews any Jews in Lee County in 1978.
Think about it. Lee County.
Saif the Knife, and came in by chopper. Stoppered in, I guess, from South Florida, and my grandfather referred to him as the world's first flying moil. Listen,
That sounds like a documentary theme, if there ever was one. Never mind the square grouper and some of the other fine things you produced.
I'm just glad they didn't do my bris. I'm glad they didn't do my bris in the helicopter.
Billy, always a pleasure, my friend. We look forward to your next, big piece of work, wherever it happens to appear. They keep getting broader and broader, the platforms for you. It'll be ABC pretty soon. Thanks so much for being with us here on the show. It was a pleasure having you on, my friend, even if you weren't writing my obituary today.
Thanks, guys. Go Canes.
We love you. Thanks. That's
Billy
actually
Corben,
the truth. I didn't even think about that. Like,
what's that?
Your eulogy.
Saif the Knife doing his circumcision?
No. That's a whole nother thing. Your eulogies have to be sponsored. Like, how do we not sponsor your eulogies? I didn't even think. Good job, Corben, man. Like, I didn't even think about that. Like, how are we going to?
Deforrest passing is brought to you by
without sponsors. Like, hello.
Lubie, I know you were hoping for me when we were at the radio station to get hit by a B bus. I'm not so sure that you're hoping for that right now. We have too much to do here to make this thing work. So we're on it. All right. Thanks to Jack Namer, the lovely Amy, of course. Brad Schiller, who does a tremendous job there on the technology here on the program. I said I looked a little orange today, so I'm going to have to work on that.
We got to fix your freaking camera light that exploded.
No, the light is fine. I think the camera might be a little out of whack since the lighting kept changing. So every now and then you got to balance the thing out. Call it white balance. But I don't know if I can find a button on this thing, so we'll see. So we'll try and straighten that out tomorrow. I assure you I'll look more, normal. Although it could be jaundice, right?
It's not.
What do you think? I mean, you never know.
I can tell you it's the lighting. It looks different, the lighting. Jaundice.
All right, a lot of fun being with you. We'll do it again tomorrow at 7 in the a.m. Of course, Thursday we'll have the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Friday, a Deal Volkswagen Degenerate Friday, brought to you by the great people at Gulfstream Park. That's all happening here on Ion Channel. Defo Show. That's all you have to do is Google the Defo Show. You can get us each and every day, and I think that thing goes on like an endless loop, so you can catch it anytime. And always great being with you. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time as we leave you now that. Don't forget about Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, mile marker 104 Key Largo. Hopefully you'll be down there next week or the week after. 9:03 on Eastern Seaboard here.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.